Let me tell you something that very few people are willing to say out loud. The United States has already lost this war, not because of what's happening on the battlefield. The battlefield is almost irrelevant. The US has lost because the war itself is destroying the machine that makes America an empire. And the terrifying part, they know it. The generals know it. The economists know it. The people in the Treasury Department are watching the numbers, and they know exactly what's coming. But nobody can stop it, because stopping it means admitting defeat. And empires don't admit defeat. They collapse. Let me explain. To understand why this war is already lost, you have to understand one thing. The American empire is not a military empire. Not really. It's a financial empire. The military exists to protect a financial system. And that financial system has a name, the petrodollar. If you don't understand the petrodollar, you don't understand anything about American power. So let me walk you through it quickly. In 1944, at a place called Bretton Woods, the United States created the modern global financial system. Every currency pegged to the dollar pegged to gold. America becomes the world's central bank. Beautiful system. Worked for almost 30 years. Then it broke. Nixon took the dollar off gold in 1971 because America had printed too many dollars and didn't have enough gold to back them. Now, when any other country does this, their currency collapses. Hyperinflation. Game over. But America didn't collapse. Why? Because 3 years later, in 1974, the Americans made a deal with Saudi Arabia, the most important deal of the 20th century, and most people have never heard of it. The deal was simple. Saudi Arabia sells all its oil in dollars, only dollars, every barrel. In exchange, America guarantees Saudi security, weapons, bases, protection. This deal spread across the entire Gulf, Kuwait, the Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain. And suddenly, every country on earth that needed oil, which is every country on earth, needed dollars to buy it. So what happens? Countries accumulate dollars. They invest those dollars back in America. Treasury bonds, stocks, real estate. America gets a constant flow of money from the entire world. And with that money, it funds the military. And the military protects the oil. And the oil forces everyone to use dollars. You see the loop? Oil finances the dollar finances the empire. The empire protects the oil. It's circular, self-reinforcing, and it allows America to borrow $40 trillion without collapsing. Because the demand for dollars is artificial. It's created by the oil trade, not by the actual strength of the economy. Make sense? Now, here's where the war in Iran becomes the most catastrophic strategic error in American history. And I don't say that lightly. I've studied the fall of empires for decades. The British Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Soviet Union, they all share the same pattern. Overextension, fiscal collapse, a war they couldn't afford. That accelerated the decline. And that's exactly what we are watching right now in real time. The decapitation strike on Tehran was supposed to be quick, surgical, take out the leadership, install chaos, watch the regime crumble. That's the theory. The theory is wrong. Because Iran's response wasn't to fight the American military. Iran's response was to attack the system, the financial system, the petrodollar itself. And they're doing it brilliantly. First, Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz carries roughly 20% of the world's oil. It's closed. Oil has doubled since the war started. We're at $110, $120 a barrel. If Hormuz stays closed for weeks, serious analysts are projecting 200, maybe 300. But the price itself isn't the real problem. The real problem is what the price does to behavior. When oil hits $200, countries stop playing by American rules. They start making deals in yuan, in rupees, in rubles. They start bypassing the dollar because they have to, because they can't afford not to. Every barrel of oil sold outside the dollar system is a crack in the foundation, and cracks accumulate. Second, and this is the one that should terrify every American with a retirement account, Iran attacked the Gulf states, not just military targets. The entire Gulf Cooperation Council is under fire. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, all hit. Now, these countries aren't just oil producers. They're massive investors in the American economy. The Abu Dhabi Investment Authority manages over $900 billion. The Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, around $700 billion. Kuwait's fund, another $800 billion. We're talking about trillions of dollars invested in American stocks, bonds, and real estate. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, partially funded by Gulf money. And now those countries are under attack. Their cities are burning, their people are fleeing. And here's the critical detail that nobody's discussing on the news. These Gulf states import 80 to 90% of their food. With Hormuz closed, Dubai runs out of food in about a week. 1 week. These governments are going to need cash. Desperately. Not to buy weapons, to buy food, to survive. And where's their cash? Sitting in the American stock market. So they will be forced to liquidate. Not because they want to hurt America, because their people need to eat. And when trillions of dollars start leaving American markets, what happens? The market crashes. Retirement savings evaporate. 401k plans collapse. Iran doesn't need to bomb New York to cause an American economic crisis. It just needs to keep bombing Dubai, right? That's the game theory. The system is so interconnected that attacking one node brings down the whole network. Third, and this is the most abstract but maybe the most devastating, confidence. I've said this before and I'll keep saying it because it's the single most important concept in understanding empire. Empire is a collective hallucination. It exists because people believe it exists. The dollar is strong because people believe it's strong. American debt is safe because people believe it's safe. The moment that belief cracks, the whole thing unravels. And what's happening right now is a crisis of belief on a scale we haven't seen since the fall of the British Empire. The deal from 1974 was explicit. You sell oil in dollars, we protect you. That was the promise. And now Gulf cities are being hit by Iranian drones. Shahed drones that cost $50,000 each. And America is trying to stop them with missiles that cost $1 million each. 2-3 interceptors per drone. Do the math. $3 million to destroy $50,000 of Iranian hardware. And Iran produces hundreds of these things a day. They have tens of thousands in reserve. It's mathematically unsustainable. Every Gulf leader watching this is asking a very simple question. If America can't protect me, why am I in this deal? Why am I selling oil in dollars? Why am I investing my wealth in their system? The hallucination is breaking. And look at the domestic picture. 70 to 80% of Americans oppose this war. The president hasn't articulated a clear purpose. There are rumors of 82nd Airborne deployment orders, ground troops in Iran, a country of 90 million people, mountainous terrain, a population that will fight. This isn't Iraq, this isn't Afghanistan. This is something else entirely. And every dollar spent on this war is a dollar added to a $40 trillion debt that is already unsustainable. Interest payments on that debt are already over $1 trillion a year. More than the defense budget, more than Medicare. The United States is borrowing money to pay interest on the money it already borrowed. That's a Ponzi scheme. And Ponzi schemes work until they don't, until confidence evaporates. Now, who benefits from all this? Russia is watching and smiling. Every American dollar that goes to the Middle East is a dollar not going to Ukraine. Every soldier in the Persian Gulf is a soldier not on the European front. Russia wants America bogged down, exhausted, overextended, and China needs Iranian oil. If America controls Iran, America controls China's energy supply. So China has every incentive to support Iran economically, diplomatically, indirectly. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, have been building alternative financial architecture for years. This war just compressed the timeline from decades to months. So let me frame this in terms of game theory. Every rational actor in this situation is making moves that weaken the United States. Not because they hate America, because the incentives point that way. Russia benefits from American exhaustion. China benefits from dollar alternatives. Iran benefits from chaos in the Gulf. Even America's own allies, the Gulf states, are being forced by survival to act against American financial interests. Nobody planned this, but the structure of the game makes it inevitable. This is what I call the law of escalation. When you try to maintain dominance through force, you don't gain control. You lose it. Every escalation creates a counter-escalation. Every bomb dropped on Tehran strengthens the case for de-dollarization. Every drone that hits Dubai weakens the financial system that funds the bombs. It's a feedback loop, but it's running in reverse. Now, the machine is eating itself. I want to be honest with you. I could be wrong. Maybe the Strait of Hormuz reopens quickly. Maybe the Gulf states don't liquidate. Maybe confidence holds. But the logic points in one direction. And when I look at the signals, when I see oil climbing, when I see Gulf investors quietly moving money, when I see countries making bilateral oil deals in non-dollar currencies, I see a system in terminal decline, not because of one war, but because this war exposed what was already fragile. The American empire was built on a financial trick, a brilliant trick, arguably the most successful financial engineering in human history. But it was always a trick, and tricks work until someone calls your bluff. Iran just called the bluff, not with nuclear weapons, not with a superior military, with 33 kilometers of water and $50,000 drones. And the question is no longer whether the petrodollar system will survive. The question is what comes after, because whoever answers that question controls the next century. And right now, it's not America that's providing the answer. Watch the bond markets. Watch Gulf sovereign wealth fund activity. Watch oil pricing in non-dollar currencies. Those are the signals, not troop movements, not press conferences. The numbers. The numbers will tell you the truth before anyone else does. And right now, the numbers are saying something that nobody in Washington wants to hear. The war is already lost, not on the battlefield, in the spreadsheets.